I looked in this one guy's eyes who was ringing the bell to quit, to put his helmet down out of Navy SEAL training, and I saw myself.
A story I'll tell you with real quick. I tried once to get in the Air Force to be an Air Force pararescueman, and I quit for fear of the water. I was 175 pounds. I left the Air Force 4 years later at 300 pounds. I went from 175 to 300 pounds. There's a long story in there on how that came to be. But I sat around and read a book on the Medal of Honor. And those guys, all I wanted to be was an uncommon man. And my whole life, I was not that, much worse than that. But I read stories about men like you, Doc, who had the courage to jump on grenades and stuff like that. So I came home one day from working at a job called Ecolab where I sprayed for cockroaches. Made $1,000 a month, weighing 300 pounds. And I got home and I watched a show on Discovery Channel of guys carrying boats and logs, Navy SEAL training. And I decided to make a change in my life. And I called the recruiter up and he asked me these questions. You had to meet a certain age, like a certain height and weight limit. I was 6'1" and 300 pounds. He laughed at me. 7 other recruiters laughed at me. One recruiter finally said, "Come on in, I'm too busy to talk to you on the phone." He didn't know how much I weighed. I walked in the recruiter's office and he looked at me and he said, "You're fat and you're black." I said I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. I didn't know there'd only been 35 African-American Navy SEALs at that time in over 70 years. He said I basically had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months because of my age. I was getting too old. I came back 3 months later, 106 pounds lighter.
What a lot of people view as successful is having a lot of money. And one of the best things that you can do is to go from poor to rich is by changing your mindset. You want to do this by making sure that you have a solid income, by doing whatever it is that you can to make money. And then when you think you have enough, you need to go ahead and start trying to strive for your goals. So go ahead and strive for your goals, but still have that job where you're bringing in money, and try to slowly transition your goals into the way that you profit and the way you make money. So that way you're going to truly love every moment of trying to become successful. But if you still need more money and it's all about the money for you, then make sure that you have your one job where you're doing the most work and getting the most money, and then go ahead and start a side hustle, which is going to be easier, but you're still going to be making money, even a way to make passive income as well. That is making money while you're sleeping, and that's one of the greatest things you can do with your time, is find a way to make a passive income. And another way to do this is by investing in the stock market with stocks that have dividend yields. They actually pay you for just holding the stock. So you buy the stock and then you just hold it and don't do anything with it, and they will give you money. So that's another way to get a lot of money. And in today's world, the internet is full of ways to be making money. It's incredibly easy to go out there and find a way to make money that doesn't involve a lot of time, energy, or effort. So you just have to be creative and go out there and look for it.
You know, the one gift I have, with all that being said, what you just said there, is I have the ability to see the end before the beginning even begins. And what that means is I know that to get to the very end, I can see it right now. So before I went to Buds, I saw myself 6 months, a year later, whatever's gonna take me to do it, I saw myself walking across that stage, getting that certificate of graduation from Buds. And I was able to be there, and that feeling that I was nowhere near that, I was able to put myself there 1,000,000 times. That's what made me suffer. That's what allowed the pain to be real and say, this is worth it. I want to feel for 18 months, it's 6 months, it took me 18, for a few seconds. That's all it is. This is a huge takeaway right now for you all. My big thing I do is I'm a big stretch fanatic. I stretch out for the last 5.5, 6 years, anywhere from 2 hours a night. I used to stretch out when I was doing nothing, as unbelievable as it sounds, 12 hours a day. Back then I was running 8:30s a mile, training pace. Now I'm running 7:05s a mile, same heart rate. It's unbelievable what it did. It literally saved my life. So right now you guys are all using it. I talk about a lot more in my book, but it's stretching is my biggest thing right now I do. And also, I was also wound very tight, so I couldn't calm myself down. My adrenal glands, when you get that tight, you're flooding yourself with tons of adrenaline. So when you feel like you're always just amped up and all jacked up all the time, trust me, you guys work in a very stressful environment. This thing right here is getting jacked up all the time. So one thing for me is I hold stretches for like sometimes 30 minutes. But it's just about range of motion. We all have a range of motion in life. That's why kids run so effortlessly, because the range of motion is open. Once it gets tightened up, everything, your biomechanics, everything gets thrown off.
The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, eventually you'll act on it. And my self-talk was the most disgusting self-talk of all time. So the sewer of my mind, like I said, you have to go back in there and fix things. A lot of us are afraid, like right now, 20 years ago, you wouldn't find me on this show. I was too embarrassed to tell you I stuttered, I lied, all these different things, getting beat up, getting bullied, whatever happened. But that's where the true transformation starts to happen. When you can look at people, anybody, thousands of people, one person, and say, hey, this is who I am. And this is where I have to fix myself. And this is where it really happened. I thought it happened when I was in, 19, 18 years old trying to pass this military test. It happened here when I was almost 300 pounds spraying for cockroaches, making $1,000 a month. And people called me dumb. My dad called me so many things, not even funny. Beat just stripped me of all self-esteem. This is when I realized I was alone on this earth. I have God alone on this earth, and I have to fix everything. So this is where I started to develop an indestructible mental toolbox.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section down below.